grade and school configuration, i.e. the school within a school information, how class sizes, how we juggle that, our scheduling information, basic teaching methodology and structures, again, teaming, integration of curriculum is described there, and some very specific information with regard to special education. There's some data, enrollment data, time on learning data, our absent tardy report, which is actually very positive, and certainly the MCAS AYP status. So a lot of information, I believe, will go forward, again, as a foundation document, so as the school council begins to shape school improvement plans for years to come, they can add and subtract to the data. I think there's some other things that could be included in that. The data that we did present, school discipline would be one area I could think of. Certainly some of the more breakdowns of student achievement with regard to grades and those kind of things. Moving into the actual improvement plan itself, again, we centered our improvement plan, Breaking Ranks in the Middle, which is a document from the National Association of Secondary School Principals, and we look at three major areas. And that would be collaborative leadership, curriculum instruction and assessment, and personalization of the learning environment. What I'd like to do is just kind of quickly run through some of the successes, I guess you would say, or some of the information from this school year. We began the school year by formally presenting our new mission statement, which was voted on last spring by the school committee, to our students. We also introduced our new logo as a result of a student contest, which again has our core values of respect, responsibility, and community. With regard to the mission statement, it's proudly now displayed throughout the building, and quite humbly, I would say that the Parents Association just last week surprised me with a full banner that you see in our foyer of the mission statement. May sound a little corny, but this mission statement is really kind of one of my crowning achievements, and took a long time to develop that, but I believe in every word that's on that page. We began the year with some new faculty additions, and in particular, Mr. Maloney was appointed our new assistant principal late in August. He did a great year. I couldn't be happier with Mr. Maloney and all the things that he's brought to our school. Under the collaborative leadership heading, the leadership model district-wide came into play December, January. For the middle school, that was a huge step forward. We now have team leaders, we have curriculum specialists, and the leadership team is now beginning to develop that shared vision and will help us move this school forward. As an exemplar, again, to the superintendent this evening, this is a result of one of the team's sixth grade team leader, organizing all the grade level meetings for her team. We got team minutes, we got team agendas, we have all the notes about all the different discussions that they had this year. So a formalized leadership team has begun in the middle school, and I couldn't be happier about that. With the idea of personalizing the learning environment, again, the strong team concept with groups of adults and students in small learning communities characterized by stable, close, and mutually respectful relationships. To further enhance the independence of the academic teams this year, we again introduced flexible scheduling, in particular to grade 7, so that the academic teams, grade 6 and in grade 7 in particular, have the ability to shift their minutes around and change their schedule day to day in accordance to what the students are working on. We are very pleased to offer a variety of new clubs this year: 8th grade writing club, music history club, digital publishing club. We offered a before-school sports and fitness club for the first time, and working very closely with the high school, we organized and introduced a chapter of SAD, Students Against Destructive Decisions, here at the middle school. We'd also like to acknowledge our second year with the Science Olympiad team, and the Science Olympiad team had a very strong finish this year in this year's competition. Our after-school intramural program also continues to grow, particularly noting the very successful middle school cross-country team, which competed in a couple of meets with schools in our area. We introduced intramurals, volleyball, basketball, floor hockey, softball, ultimate frisbee. School clubs are also available for all students: book club, art club, drama club, memory book, math and engineering, and geography club. We'd also like to note this year our monthly town meeting, which again brings together the entire middle school community. It's completely student-driven and led. They set the agenda, they run the meeting, and it happens once a month. So that's a new community builder for us. We've already mentioned Project Adventure this evening. Certainly, we would note the other field trips that went out, the Mount Wachusett trip for grade 8. Grade 7 went to the North Shore Theater as well as to the Museum of Fine Arts. So again, we're beginning to grow beyond the borders of our school. Our drama club this year, 2 productions, Alice in Wonderland and Who Killed Kevin, were highly successful. We had over 65 students participating in drama club this year. Community service continues to be strong throughout our school, as evidenced by our student council, peer leaders, and SAD. Student council and SAD peer leaders have collaborated on a number of different projects, including school-wide walkathon, support for the local food pantry, winter coat ride, coins for cures, and relays for life. New this year, our Buddies Club helps to organize a variety of school activities for our substantially separate special education program. This year, this fall coming, we're going to be introducing another program as part of our special education program, Pathways, which is again to meet the unique needs of a group of incoming grade 6 students. With regard to our facility and technology, we understand that our building remains in great need of a complete renovation or rebuilding, but we do continue to improve the learning environment. We've installed a number of new smart boards, making this instructional technology available in nearly every classroom. We also would point out the number of student artwork throughout our building. The bulletin boards have grown numerously throughout the building in display of student work. So that's just some of the highlights from this year. Again, as we get into the plan itself, the goals are based on the three concepts of breaking ranks, and I would open it up to questions about any of the goals that we have set forward in our plan.
John, thank you.
Yeah.
Great presentation. Clearly a lot of work. I didn't read all of it. I read some of it, and I think it's going to take the new principal probably the rest of the summer to finish reading it. So she better start tonight. Yeah, we'll open it up to questions. Anybody from the committee?
Not specifically related to the goals, but one of the issues that's beset us for a long time is studies in the middle school, and I know we've worked to try to reduce those, but a lot of that relates to how many teachers we have, the kinds of programs we offer. So I'm just wondering, in terms of how this works into the goals, you talked about flexible scheduling. Do you think we'll see a reduction in studies, or are we not going to be able to do that, especially given the large size of the 6th grade class that's coming up to the school?
Well, with regard to the new 6th grade class, we are hiring 2 part-time teachers, 1 in technology education and 1 in health, which is a direct help to us to help control the general arts schedule in grade 6 specifically, as well as maintain, or eliminate a study hall or 2. But there will still be study halls in general terms. There are 3 study halls per grade level when they go to general arts. Again, it's about controlling the class sizes and having the availability of the general arts classes. So we have talked, Superintendent and I have talked at great length about how we can begin to introduce other programs in order to give our students the opportunity to take general arts classes instead of study hall. So,
I mean, I know they have far fewer than they did
Yeah.
prior to you coming on board, and I think that's been a great accomplishment. But obviously, budget restrictions prevent us maybe from making even further inroads on this. But obviously, it's something I think we need to focus on.
again, it just, in general terms, when the grade level goes to their academic classes, there are 10 teachers. So we can maintain 21, 22, 23 to 1 in the academic math, English, science, social studies, and foreign language if you were talking about grade 8. When they go to general arts, we only have 5 teachers involved. So when you add 5 teachers plus 3 study halls, that would give you 8 teachers involved. And then when you divide the 8 into the class size, you get a bigger number, obviously, than the academic classes. So that's really the heart of it. But the schedule matrix is set up perfectly for introducing, as you've heard me say it many times, foreign language to grade 6, or family consumer science to grade 7, or a tech ed engineering program to grade 8. And those would immediately take the place of a study hall.
Right.
So,
The other question I had, and this is a simple one, probably for the superintendent, it's 900 hours required by the state for structured learning time for middle school? Is that the number?
That's correct. They follow along with the elementary, and
Okay.
it's $9.90 for the high school.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments on the school improvement plan? Again, John, thank you. I mean, obviously, a lot of work, and that's a great foundation for Ms. O'Connell to build on when she,
working on it all summer. I actually
So-
would say that I've really kind of presented it here as a draft. I mean, it's in its final form, but again, working with Kathy throughout the summer, if there was anything that jumped out at her, she wanted to add or take away, she certainly could meet with the school council first thing in September and get that approved and bring it back to the.
there's a lot of information. I mean, almost any
Yeah.
question you had about
Is
the
the
middle
answer-
school
right.
was contained in that,
Yeah.
in that report, so that was excellent. And John, while you're here, I don't think Mr. Bernal mind waiting another few minutes. We might as well move right into the,
We need to approve this.
oh, that's right, we need to approve this first. Okay, so we'll take a vote on the approval of the middle school, school improvement plan.
I'll make a motion to approve the middle school improvement plan for 2011-2012.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Webster and a second by Mr. Bowers. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none, motion carries by a vote of 5-0. Now we're gonna move into the student-parent handbook changes.
It's always an interesting discussion.
Not as
Uh,
interesting as the high school one, but.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that. All right, in your packet, Mr. Maloney and a variety of faculty members formed a committee about a month and a half ago and working on editing. The handbook will now go into its third editing since I've been here, and the good news, or the new news, I guess, is that in addition to the changes to this document, which we're gonna talk about, the getting started, or the basic day-to-day information for students, is also going to appear in their agenda books this year as part of their organizational information. Teachers would like to have some of the basics information as well in the handbook as well as in their agenda. When you look at the handouts that we gave you, when you look at the deletions first, these are the things that were in our handbook that are being deleted. So, for example, the after-school obligation, okay, which is a 24-hour notice form that we have students take home to have filled out or signed by their parents, so the parent would know 24 hours in advance that they had an obligation, most commonly detention or something like that. We're eliminating it only from the getting started, the very beginning portion of our handbook. The information with regard to 24-hour notice is still in effect, and it falls under our discipline code. So instead of having repeat information, the committee that edited the handbook this year decided that they would make it even cleaner. When you look at academic progress reports, paper academic progress reports are slowly going by the wayside as we introduce Edline. The dismissal at the end of the day is being changed because our new dismissal is now 221, and we are dismissing the school all at once, so that information is now obsolete. And in cell phones, we're gonna talk about the cell phones again. There is some information that we're changing, but basically, the cell phone information that we're deleting right here, again, fell into that getting started information. We decided to just keep the cell phone information under our code of conduct. So that is generally why those things were deleted. When you get into the additions, the changes, again, the academic progress report, that's gonna be Edline. The agenda book, we do ask for a small fee or donation for the agenda book.